Hello, I'd like to give a brief introduction to how MeAndMyDocs website works. And we'll start off with logging in from our splash page. One could log in here or up in the top right hand corner, kind of like Facebook. So we'll hit login and go on and log in as a scheduler. Say we want to invite someone to come to our or upload their imaging studies. So as a scheduler, I would log in and I would decide to send a patient invitation. Once you click Patient Invite, you're brought to this page, which will allow you to invite a patient to upload a CD. And there's also a second feature, a new feature, which allows a delegate to upload a CD on behalf of a patient. Perhaps your patient is younger or older, or doesn't have fast internet access, or perhaps the physician's office has the CD-ROM right there and a nurse would upload it for the patient. So you click either one, have a patient upload their study or have a delegate upload a study for the patient. We'll start with the first one, where a patient uploads their own study. Now, as the scheduler, you would simply just schedule which provider or practice, care team that needs to look at that study, and you put in the patient's email and the registration number, patient's first name, and date of birth in the format of like January 14th, 1962 with a 4-digit last year. And then simply you would hit invite. Now you'll see at the bottom here we've got a sample script for a patient invite so that it's easy to just go through with the patient the first few times. Of course, you'll get used to doing that on your own without any difficulties. Now let's say you make a mistake and really what you wanted to do was a proxy invite or a delegate invite. Some doctor's office wants to upload it for you. We find that is pretty common in tertiary care centers where the referring specialist wants to upload it for a patient. So we encourage the specialist or their nurse or medical administrator or assistant to do this. It could take 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to upload a study, so we don't want the doctors waiting there. But you click upload here, and you'd say, well, who's going to upload the study? Is it the referring physician themselves, or is it somebody else? Now, we'll take the other person first. That person could be a caregiver, a nurse in a doctor's office, or some family member, and you just choose who that is. So I'll choose caregiver, and you put in the caregiver's email at gmail.com, and the caregiver's first name, last name, and then the registration number for the patient, right? And the patient's first name, last name, and date of birth in that format. And then finally, which care team is going to take care of that patient and view those studies, and we would choose practice and send the invite. So that's the delegate invite and the standard invite, both under this tab here. Remember, it does take a few minutes to do, so if you choose a delegate invite, you may want the physician's office staff to help with this, or perhaps their nurse. So now the patient will get an invitation. I've gone to my email now and have an email from MeAndMyDocs.com inviting me to send my radiology images to my provider using the website. And there are the pertinent details about who's asking me to do that and where I need to go in terms of a link to upload my images. There's some other details here that if you'd like to stop and look at, you can. But the patient would simply click on this link to go to the website. So I'll do that now. And when they go there, they're asked to create a password. Now the password has to be a secure password, and the site keeps track of the passwords to make sure that they're adequate strength. And then double check or double enter that password. And then as a second confirmation to make sure the email goes to the right person, we have to confirm the date of birth. And then activate the account. I can go to my inbox now by logging in order to upload some studies. And so I'm taken to the website where I am given taken right to the uploader tool. This is the uploader tool right here. So I'm going to install the tool now to upload images, and the tool will install fairly quickly. It's a very small application that will recognize the CD-ROM and help me upload my images from the CD-ROM. I'm going to log in again. And then begin the upload process. There's a short description about some of the security features, that this is secure, we don't share information. And then if the patient has any difficulties, they can just say no thanks and bring the CD to their doctor's office, so they don't need to worry if they have technical difficulties or just not comfortable with the computer at some point. So after reading the screen, the patient will scan the CD. And this is in my computer now. You'll hear the CD reader start. It recognizes the studies that are on the reader because they're in a format that's recognized, and we'll start to upload the studies. A study can take, if it's a CAT scan or MRI scan, 5, 10, 15 minutes. If a CD has several large studies on it, it could take more than 15 minutes to upload it. Now you can see that study is uploading. And once the images have been uploaded, the patient gets a message, and then they could exit or upload more studies if they by chance have a second CD-ROM. And that's it for the uploader tool. The patients then can see what studies they have uploaded by clicking on the link, and they'll see that a study is there, and they can click on more information if they'd like. That's it for the upload. It's pretty straightforward. Then we'll go and log on as a provider and see. Now let's log in as a physician or one of the physician's care team members. Anybody who needs to look at the studies and has authorization to look at studies, they would do the same thing. They would log in on the top right-hand side of the page. Now a physician or a care team provider would want to log in to look at imaging studies. They'll get an email saying their studies to look at. They would log into their inbox, and they would see a number of incoming studies here. The care team provider, the care team, the patient's name, who uploaded it, probably the patient, but there could be a delegate that uploaded it, when it was uploaded, and now the action to view. So we'll click on a study to view and see that the study loads very quickly. You can see that this one only has one study that was uploaded by the patient, the sample patient. We would click on the study, and you can easily see you can scroll now from image to image much faster than you can with the CD, and then you can do some basic manipulation of the imaging studies. For instance, you can magnify it significantly, zoom in, and then with the hand you can move the imaging study around to look at different areas. I'll go back to regular size. You can change the contrast on CT scans in particular, the windowing and contrast and brightness. With that tool, you can change the default windowing using this tool, or go to bone windows, and then you can rotate and flip the images. In this case, you can see the right is on the wrong side, so we would flip that to make them in standard position. The most important thing is you can now send this imaging study to the radiology information system, so it's viewable in your electronic health record by clicking the import button. Simply the name of the patient, the date of birth, registration number has been filled in already. Most radiology clerks would like you to put the visit number if you can find that, please. And then you want it archived, check that box, and if you'd like it interpreted by a radiologist, check the second box and enter the clinical question for the radiologist below. So I'll say 3 months headache, rule out sinusitis, and send that along. This is one more confirmation about what you're going to do. You're going to archive this film and have it formally reviewed. And then the last screen says, do you need it stat? So I don't need a formal stat reading or the formal reading stat and 72-hour turnaround time would be fine. So I'm leave these as they are. I would hit OK to move this along, but I'm going to cancel it for now. That's it for the viewer and the option to move it forward to radiology. So let's look what the radiology clerk does in this application. So we'll log in, go to my inbox, and you'll see now that I have this study that was just sent to me, and I need to download the file. So I'll click on this, and the Macintosh downloads the file. These images are altogether about 25 megs. The radiologists have a typically very fast internet connection, but the radiologists would download the files and put them on their desktop, and then bring them into their system. But to help them, we also have shown the orders as a PDF. In other words, all the studies that need to be downloaded can be viewed as a Adobe Acrobat form. And this is the list of patients that have studies that need to be downloaded. And they'll be prioritized stat ones first, but basically has the registration number, the visit number, the clinical history, and the type of study it is there, so the radiologist can have an overview, and the clerk also has one individual page per study so that they can triage to the appropriate radiologist in different areas of the radiology department. And that's it. The radiology clerks and staff seem to be delighted to be able to use this because they anticipate this is going to save them a fair amount of time. They can download several studies and while they're walking away from the machine.